Have you ever heard of a man who could walk into a bank, ask for billions of dollars, and get it without any real collateral? A man who draped Hollywood stars and royalty in diamonds, built a global empire, and then vanished, leaving behind one of the biggest banking scams in history. This is the story of Nirav Modi, the Diamond King who fooled an entire nation. Before he became an international fugitive, Nirav Modi was the face of Indian luxury. His brand wasn't just about jewelry. It was about a lifestyle. Picture this: glamorous boutiques in London, New York, and Hong Kong. A-list celebrities like Kate Winslet and Priyanka Chopra Jonas as brand ambassadors. His creations were masterpieces, with some pieces fetching millions at auction. He was celebrated as a visionary, a man who put Indian jewelry design on the global map. But behind this sparkling facade, a massive deception was taking shape. One that would eventually bring a major state-owned bank to its knees. So, how did one man manage to orchestrate a fraud worth nearly $2 billion? The answer lies in a seemingly simple, yet obscure banking instrument called a letter of undertaking, or LOU. Think of an LOU as a guarantee from one bank to another. Essentially, Nirav Modi's home bank in India, the Punjab National Bank or PNB, would issue these letters to overseas banks. These letters guaranteed that PNB would cover the payment if Modi's companies defaulted. With these guarantees in hand, Modi's firms could then get easy credit from foreign banks to import pearls and diamonds. It sounds like a standard business practice, right? Here's the catch. The LOUs issued for Nirav Modi were completely fraudulent. A couple of junior-level employees at a single PNB branch in Mumbai were issuing these guarantees without following any of the bank's procedures. They weren't making any official record of these transactions in the bank's main computer system. Instead, they were using the SWIFT messaging network, an international financial communication system, to send these guarantees directly to other banks. This created a shadow banking system, completely invisible to PNB's central office and auditors. For almost 7 years, this went on undetected. Imagine a secret back channel, a hidden pipeline of money flowing out of the bank. Every time an old loan was due, new, larger LOUs were issued to pay it off, creating a rolling cycle of debt that just kept growing. It was like using one credit card to pay off another, but on a mind-boggling scale. The scheme was so audacious and ran for so long that the total amount ballooned to an astronomical figure. The bank officials involved were allegedly receiving kickbacks, turning a blind eye to the massive risk they were exposing their own bank to. They were essentially giving Nirav Modi a blank check, backed by the full faith and credit of India's second-largest public sector bank. The house of cards finally came crashing down in January 2018. An official from one of Nirav Modi's companies went to the same PNB branch to get a new set of LOUs. But this time, the corrupt officials, who had been facilitating the scam for years, had retired. The new staff asked for 100% cash collateral, which is standard procedure. The company official was shocked. He argued that they had been getting these letters for years without any such requirement. This raised a massive red flag. The new bank employees started digging. When they couldn't find any record of the previous transactions in the core banking system, they knew something was seriously wrong. They pulled the SWIFT records, and the truth began to unravel. The bank discovered a series of unauthorized guarantees amounting to billions of dollars, all linked to Nirav Mehul Choksi, another prominent jeweler who was running a similar scam. The discovery sent shockwaves through India's entire financial system. How could such a massive fraud go unnoticed for so long in a state-owned bank? It exposed huge loopholes in the banking system, a lack of oversight, and a dangerous level of collusion. Just as the scandal was breaking, Nirav Modi did what many high-profile fraudsters do. He fled. Along with his family, he had already left India weeks before PNB filed its first police complaint. The man who once graced the covers of business magazines was now an international fugitive, the subject of an Interpol Red Notice. The Indian government launched a massive manhunt, and investigators started seizing his assets: luxury cars, paintings, properties, and, of course, mountains of diamonds and gold. His glittering empire, built on a foundation of lies, was dismantled piece by piece. The chase led authorities to London, where Nirav Modi was discovered living openly in a luxury apartment, reportedly running a new diamond business. He was eventually arrested by UK police in March 2019. What followed was a long and dramatic legal battle in the British courts. Modi's lawyers fought his extradition to India, arguing that he wouldn't receive a fair trial and that his mental health was fragile. They claimed the conditions in Indian prisons were inhumane. However, the UK courts repeatedly ruled against him, stating that the case for fraud was strong and that Indian authorities had provided sufficient assurances about his welfare. After years of appeals, the UK High Court rejected his final attempt to block extradition in late 2022. The decision was a major victory for Indian investigators. However, the story isn't over yet. Nirav Modi remains in a London prison, and while the legal path for his return to India is clear, the final steps of the extradition process can be complex and time-consuming. Meanwhile, back in India, the banks are still trying to recover the staggering losses. They've auctioned off his seized assets, but the amount recovered is just a fraction of the total stolen. The Punjab National Bank had to take a massive financial hit, and the scandal forced the Indian government and the Reserve Bank of India to implement stricter regulations to prevent something like this from ever happening again. The Nirav Modi saga is more than just a financial crime. It's a cautionary tale about greed, hubris, and the systemic failures that allow such massive fraud to occur. It shows how a charismatic figure can exploit trust and loopholes to build a fantasy world, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. It raises uncomfortable questions about corporate governance, regulatory oversight, and the very nature of trust in our financial institutions. As we await the final chapter of this story, Nirav Modi's potential return to India to face justice, the case serves as a stark reminder. In a world of dazzling appearances and promises of immense wealth, it's crucial to look beyond the sparkle, because sometimes the most brilliant diamonds hide the darkest secrets. What do you think? Was this a failure of the bank, or the genius of a conman? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you found this story fascinating, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into some of the most unbelievable stories from around the world. See you next time.